G'day and welcome to my wrap of one of the most exciting races I've been involved in, the Russian Grand Prix. Lando Norris went from this hug on a Saturday to this hug on a Sunday. More in 8 seconds time. I've not seen the likes of that in my short time at F1, and I want to run through my sights and experiences on what was a most remarkable day in Sochi. I shot the start from turn 2 and then spent some time there before eventually heading back, I think about 10 laps to go, to the final 2 corners. I guess I, like you, probably thought Lando had this in the bag, and certainly Hamilton was able to get close to him, but as it was evident earlier in the day, Hamilton couldn't get past Daniel Ricciardo easily, and with only, what was it, 7 or 8 laps to go before the rain came down, he was obviously going to face those same difficulties overtaking Lando. But then the rain came, and it didn't come heavily where I was at the second last and last corner. It was only a light sprinkle. It was heartbreaking for Lando. After the excitement of Saturday when he qualified on pole, to have this happen on the Sunday, that was savage, absolutely savage for the young Brit. And after the race, when he pulled his car into Parc Ferme, I'm not sure whether TV picked this up, I gather they did, he sat in that car for a long time. I'm guessing a couple of minutes. George Russell came over to console him. But that was pretty much it in the way of drivers. He was then left to get out of the car and then walk that long walk back to where Lewis was being interviewed. And as you can see here, he had his hands up on his helmet, and I can only imagine what sort of emotions he was going through there. And I thought it was a great sign of maturity that he went straight over to Lewis, interrupted his interview that he was doing live on the track, and the pair had a hug that was so much different to the day prior when he hugged Carlos Sainz. Of course, Carlos Sainz was the recipient of some good luck there because he ended up on the podium. And I like Carlos, I like him a lot, and I get on well with Lando too. And in fact, earlier in the day when Carlos came in, I said, look, it's great that you two are on the front row. I just don't know who to go for today. And he said, I think I know who you go for, intimating Lando. Look, I wouldn't have minded who won, but I probably was more on the side of Lando. But his first win is still to come, and I'm sure we will see it at some point. I did capture Lando coming into the pit lane, and you probably realise he was given a warning after an investigation that saw him come into the pits incorrectly, and here he is crossing the line where you should not be. You need to be in that incoming lane a lot earlier than at that point. After the race, all the drivers went into the paddock and did their interviews, and I went up and did some quick editing, and then I came back and I waited for drivers to leave. And I decided I'd wait at the main end where most of the drivers exit, and got these photos of Lance and his dad Lawrence, and I'm pretty sure this is the first photo of the father-son pair that I have. And then I decided I'll go down to the other end where Valtteri, Lewis and Lando, maybe one other driver, use. Valtteri came out first, got into his Mercedes and took off, and then Lewis came out with his security guard Lloyd and his physio Angela Cullen. They came out just after Toto had left the track. Toto's got into this Mercedes, Lewis has got into this one, and then 3 police cars took off in front of them, providing an escort along with the 2 Mercedes, and they headed, I gather, straight to the airport. Lando, I waited for probably another 20 minutes, and I hoped to get a shot of him coming down this service road to the car park, and it would have only been me, him and his trainer. However, they then went and turned the lights out. And Max Verstappen, tremendous drive from him, wasn't it? From 20 up to second. He had with him his girlfriend Kelly Piquet over 3 of the 4 days at the event, and Kelly is one of the most popular people on social media, certainly for me. This picture I put up Thursday went absolutely crazy, and here's what she was wearing on Sunday. In fact, I think Kelly was the only partner of a driver to be at the track, and when I was putting together my Women of the Paddock post featuring these 10 women, including this lovely young lady who spoke perfect English and was my absolute go-to woman when it came to getting a shuttle bus out of the track. Thank you for your help. And Britta Ruska was my feature picture. Interesting there, a lot of people told me, hey, Britta is on social media. She's on Instagram. And I had a quick chat with her here at this moment. I took this photo. And I said, what's the story with you being on social media? And she said, well, look, Auntie and I, Auntie is Seb's trainer, were sitting in Monza one night, and he said, oh, he's got quite a few followers on Instagram. And Britta said, look, I thought I'd just give it a go. So she put up, I think, only 2 pictures, and I think it was on the same day. And she's already got 5,000 fans, and after this maybe she might get a few hundred more. But she's not going to use it. She just did it for a bit of fun, she says, and I imagine she'll keep it up there there's no reason to take it down, but she's not actively going to start posting. She's not that sort of woman. She's very much in the background. I mentioned before that I shot at turn 2 for the start, and then I moved probably just 100 metres, and then I happened to look at my phone at some point, and I had about 100 messages from people saying, "We spotted you," and yes, that was me, and thank you to those people who indeed let me know, and the shots I get from that position are these. But sadly the light was nowhere near as good on the Sunday as it was on the Friday for that spot. Let's talk about the grid, and did you notice that there was no national anthem for Russia played? That's because of the doping scandal. So instead, I believe it was some Tchaikovsky played by this pianist on this piano with a ballerina on top. And what a beautiful thing that was, to see a ballerina on the grid. And if Nikita Mazepin wins a race, what anthem do they play? I guess they probably play some classical music. On the subject of Nikita, he was very popular this weekend, doing plenty of media. He had the Netflix crew tailing the Haas team around. It was an obvious one for them, home Russian race for Nikita. He had a big party on the Saturday night at the Radisson Collection Hotel, which was well attended, had a band called Leningrad playing. It was something that we don't often see these days in F1, a big party thrown by a driver on the Saturday night. It's wise to check in for your flight online before you leave home. Why? Some airlines, particularly in America, will bump unchecked passengers before they'll bump checked passengers. So if you want to minimise the chance of being offloaded from your flight, check in online before you leave home. Robert Schwartzman, I mentioned him on my Thursday video. He was once again popular, doing some more media stuff in the paddock. And Daniil Kvyat got this lovely series of photos of Daniil mock punching my lens. And I find Daniil to be just a genuinely approachable guy. I think a lot of people misunderstand him, but I find him nothing but delightful. Driver arrivals. What was Lewis wearing? Well, I didn't get him Thursday, but Friday he was wearing this, and on Saturday this. And on Sunday, he looks like he was going out to play for the England cricket team, dressed in his whites. And some of the drivers bring in their luggage on a Sunday as well, because they have a quick getaway after the race. And Daniel Ricciardo, I caught walking in with Charles Leclerc. And boy, oh boy, was this picture popular both on my Instagram page and on Twitter, which I've started pushing a little bit of late. And if you like Twitter, yeah, go and find me on Twitter, please. Oh, and what have I lost lately? Yeah, I lost a pair of jeans somewhere. I got no idea. I lost a lens hood for my 85mm lens, but thankfully, Celia from the Bild newspaper in Germany was sitting next to me. She found it and she's going to bring it to Istanbul. I lost my credit card at Nikita Mazepin's party. Thankfully, somebody found it on the floor and handed it back. So that's my losses in the last week. This race, all of the drivers stayed at hotels. There was no opportunity for motorhomes in the park, and that means they all had to drive in. So my video of what the drivers drove in Sochi is going to be a good one this week, and I think you'll find one of the biggest surprises is Lance Stroll's choice of vehicle. Our media centre is perched right above the track, above the garages, probably Mercedes is underneath us. And it's a great vantage point, but when you go out onto the balcony, not only can you shoot the drivers coming into their press conferences, which I did on the Thursday, you can also shoot across the paddock, and late at night, you see people like Gunther Steiner here, just pacing backwards and forwards on the phone. And of course on Thursday, Daniel and Lando and Seb playing table tennis. And in fact, I asked Seb one morning when he came in, what was the deal with that? Was that planned? And he said, no, we were just next door and I could see them playing. I just went over there and joined in. During the Friday practice session, which was under sunny skies, that was lovely, Pierre Gasly lost his front wing just a little bit on from where I was, and when it was picked up off the track, it was delivered back to the garage on the back of this guy's motorcycle. Now, I guess if he went at any speed, he could either take off or get serious downforce. Many of you will know Will Buxton. Well, here he is giving me the finger. If you happen to be a paddock goer, feel free to give me the finger, because once I get 100 or so, I think I can make a good video. I've got a lot of drivers who've given me the finger, and Daniil Kvyat, we mentioned earlier, he used to make that a bit of a thing, giving me the finger before I had a chance to photograph him. That's just a few of the stories I've got for you from the Russian Grand Prix, which was a fascinating day out, a great win for Lewis Hamilton, a marvellous fight back for Max Verstappen, and a very sad day for Lando Norris. But after all, it's just car racing. It's just a bit of fun. Oh, and just quickly, can you please like the video? Perhaps we'll do it now together. There we go. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Click the bell for notifications. Join as a member if you want some freebies, and I've got to put up my raw images midweek for all of you people that love to edit them. They come to you with the compliments of me, free of charge, once you become a member of the channel. All of my images are available at prostarpics.com for editorial or personal use. You'll find photo books and a range of them, including the new McLaren 1-2 at Monza book, which is going gangbusters. You'll find them at kimellman.com, along with a range of merchandise. And for my best pictures live from the track and all during the week, head to Instagram and search at Kim Ellman. Thanks for watching, and stay passionate. The light was unfortunately the light was nowhere near. But unfortunately the light was nowhere near as good at that spot. But unfortunately the